You have a trauma response brain. Here is how to function with it. This is a topic that no one ever speaks about as much. From childhood, you have experienced a series of events that may have caused a traumatic experience in your life. Only 1% of people actually know how to use trauma as fuel to navigate and succeed in life. And while 99% of people struggle to do so. When people hear the word trauma, they often think of extreme events such as physical abuse, emotional abuse, war, accidents. But trauma isn't just about what happened. It's about how your nervous system adapted to what happened. A trauma response brain is a brain that has been conditioned to prioritize survival over growth. At a biological level, your brain has three core parts. The prefrontal cortex, which controls logic, decision-making, planning. Limbic system, also known as the amygdala. This regulates emotions and detects threats. Brainstem, which regulates survival, fight, flight, freeze. In a regulated person, these systems work together. In a trauma-adapted person, the amygdala becomes overactive, hyper alert to danger. The prefrontal cortex becomes underutilized under stress. The brain prioritizes safety over opportunity. This means you react faster than you think. You anticipate danger even when none exists. You struggle to feel safe even when life is objectively fine. This is not a flaw, it's an adaptation. Your brain is not broken, it's trained. A trauma response brain typically defaults to one or a mix of these patterns. 1. Fight. You become aggressive, defensive, controlling. You react strongly to perceived disrespect or threats. You may struggle with anger or irritability. 2. Flight. You avoid, overwork, or stay constantly busy. You struggle to sit still or relax. Productivity becomes a coping mechanism. 3. Freeze. You feel stuck, numb, or unable to act. Procrastination becomes chronic. You overthink but don't execute. 4. Fawn. You people please to stay safe. You struggle to say no. You prioritize others over yourself. Most people aren't just one, they rotate depending on context. For example, at work, it comes in forms of flight, overworking. In relationships, you are the people pleaser, oftentimes. Under pressure, your brain shuts down. If you have a trauma response brain, it doesn't just show up emotionally, it affects your performance, career, and relationships. You either overwork or avoid work completely. You struggle with consistency. You rely on pressure to perform. You burn out quickly. You might think, why can I perform at a high level sometimes and completely collapse at other times? That's your nervous system switching states, not your discipline failing. With decision making, you overthink simple decisions. You fear making the wrong move. You delay action. Why? Because your brain links decisions with risk. Risk equals danger, danger equals threat. In relationships, you fear abandonment or rejection. You overanalyze messages, tone, behavior. You struggle with boundaries. Your brain is always scanning for, am I safe with this person? Not, Do I enjoy being this person? How does this person align with my values? D. Self-perception. You feel behind or not enough. You compare yourself constantly. You struggle with confidence despite evidence. This comes from internalized patterns. I must perform to be safe. If I fail, something bad happens. Here's what most people don't realize. A trauma response brain, when understood, can become a high-performance system. Why? Because you likely have high awareness, strong pattern recognition, emotional intelligence, adaptability, drive, especially in flight mode. This is why many high achievers come from adversity. The problem isn't your wiring. The problem is lack of regulation plus lack of control over your state. You don't need to fix yourself completely. The goal is learn how to function while dysregulated and how to return to regulation quickly. Think of it like this. You won't eliminate stress. You'll increase control over your response to stress. Now, here is how to function with a trauma response brain. Step 1. You need to learn to identify your state. You need awareness before control. Ask yourself daily, am I in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? What triggered this state? What does my body feel like? Examples. Having a tight chest puts you in a flight mode. When your body feels heavy, you shut down. When you get irritated unnecessarily, your body begins to regulate itself. Without this awareness, you'll think, this is just who I am. But it's not. It's a state. Step 2. Regulate your nervous system, not just your thoughts. Most people try to think their way out of trauma responses. That doesn't work. Why? Because trauma lives in the body, not just the mind. You need physiological regulation. Fast methods, use daily. Deep breathing, slow exhale. Cold water on face. Walking, especially outside. Stretching or light movement. Why this works? It signals to your brain we are not in danger anymore. 3. Build state-based productivity. Instead of forcing discipline, match tasks to your state. If you're in flight, anxious, restless, do action-based tasks such as going to the gym. Freeze, low energy. Do small, easy wins such as completing one important task per day. Fight, agitated. Physical movement first. Walking is the perfect exercise. Fawn, people-pleasing. Avoid decision-heavy social tasks. This is how high performers operate subconsciously. Step 4. Reduce internal pressure. Trauma brains perform under pressure, but collapse under sustained pressure. So instead of you saying, I need to fix my life, or I need to be consistent every day, shift to, I just need to show up today. Small wins count. Consistency is built through low resistance, not force. Step 5. Create safety in your environment. Your brain needs cues of safety. That includes making sure you always have a clean and tidy workspace, create predictable routines, having a stable income, controlled social environment. If your environment is chaotic, your brain stays in survival mode. Step 6. Rebuild your relationship with work. Right now, your brain may associate work with pressure, judgment, fear of failure. You need to rewire that. Start associating work with progress, control, small wins. Example, instead of "I need to master everything," shift to "I'm just improving 1% today." Step 7. Learn to take action while dysregulated. This is the real skill. You will not always feel motivated, calm, focused, but you can still act. The rule: reduce the size of the task until your brain allows action. Examples: instead of "build a website," open laptop. Instead of "study 2 hours," study 10 minutes. Action creates regulation, not the other way around. 8. Stop over-identifying with your thoughts. Trauma brains produce loud, convincing thoughts. You're behind. You'll fail. This won't work. These are not truths. They are protective predictions. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. Those thoughts will not keep you focused. Step 9. Build emotional tolerance. Most people avoid discomfort. You need to increase your ability to sit with discomfort without reacting. This is what separates high performers. Start small. Sit with boredom. Sit with uncertainty. Sit with incomplete tasks. This builds resilience. Step 10. Focus on control, not perfection. You don't control outcomes, timing, other people. You control actions, effort, environment. A trauma response brain improves massively when it regains a sense of control. Step 11. The long-term shift. Over time, if you apply this, you move from reactive to responsive, survival to creating a controlled performance with every aspect of your life, inconsistency to being adaptable. You won't become a completely different person. You'll become someone who understands their system and knows how to operate it. You don't have a weak brain. You have a highly adaptive brain trained in the wrong environment. Most people never realize this, and yet they spend years blaming themselves. But once you understand, your reactions make sense. Your patterns are predictable. Your system can be trained. You stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "How do I improve?"